Hi everyone, I'm Tony with The Intenders, and today we're going to be presenting a new series of YouTubes based upon my latest book, Stay Above It All, The 11th Intent of the Code. And it's a free download at intenders.com. So without further delay, let's join Merlin as he teaches young Arthur all about power, precipitation, that's what Merlin calls the law of attracting, pandemics, and manifesting the best outcomes you can imagine.
So, laddie, what is it that you really want?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
I mean, what do you truly want in your life, Arthur? You seem a little serious today. What will it take to make you happier than you are right now?
Well, I want a lot of things. More friends, a bigger allowance, more time to be myself without anybody watching over me, nicer teachers, no more shots, a new SUV, more fun. I want a lot of things.
So, what's keeping you from having these things you want?
I don't have a clue. It's like the world is against me. No matter what I'm wanting, it seems like it's always just out of reach.
And what are you doing about that?
I'm truly lost, Merlin. I don't know what to do.
Okay, that's a start. Now, how about if we explore an area that isn't being covered in your school? How about if we begin to put the law of precipitation and your intentions to work for you?
That sounds interesting. How do I do that?
You begin by getting up every morning and setting a direction for your day by saying something like, I intend that I have more fun, a new SUV, and so forth.
That's too simple. I don't see how that's going to work.
I can't tell you how it works, laddie, but I can promise you that it does work, and I can assure you that if you get up every morning and before you begin your day, you say your intentions or prayers or affirmations, then if it's for your highest good, the law will see to it that the things you want in your life will come to you.
Are you sure about that?
Positive. The law of precipitation always works if you use it. Unfortunately, you weren't taught about it in school, so most folks aren't aware that their thoughts and words have anything to do with their daily experiences. As a result, they don't do the one thing that would help them the most in life. They don't intend for the circumstances that will provide them with a happier, more enjoyable future.
So, you're saying that if I get up in the morning and intend that I have an SUV, it'll come to me, yes?
Absolutely. If it's for your highest good, for the law of precipitation, it has to happen.
Okay, I'll try it. But can it work on bigger things? Something deep inside tells me that I'm going to have a huge impact on the world someday. But with the worldly situation the way it is now, I don't see any way I can do that simply by intending it. For instance, having world peace and a safe, sustainable, supportive environment seems so far out of reach.
Maybe for you, my young friend, but not for me. You see, I know that things can change in an instant. One moment you could be swimming in chaos, and the very next moment you could be breathing a huge sigh of relief because an unforeseen event brought on a mass awakening to the wisdom of truly caring about one another and the earth you live on.
I guess anything's possible, but I still don't see how I can have a positive effect on it all.
You start with yourself, laddie. Learn the code. The code is a proven universal guide for positive daily living. Say your intentions or prayers every morning. Watch your words and thoughts more closely and withhold your attention and agreement from any thought or idea that doesn't feel good or sound like it's going to give you the future you're really wanting for yourself. And most important of all, don't hang out with kids who are always complaining or telling you that you can't have what you want.
Okay, I can do that. But how's that going to affect the world? It seems almost impossible.
Again, you start with yourself, Arthur, and understand that you may or may not notice a change in the world around you right away. You will, however, notice a big change in yourself. You'll be happier because you're getting the things you want, and that happiness will be reflected out into the world, and it will affect everyone it touches and everyone they touch.
So what you're saying is that what I'm really wanting is my happiness, independent of worldly circumstances.
Yes, now you've got it, and always remember that the world as it stands today would have you be unhappy and confused, stumbling around through life. It will tell you that you can't have the things you want, that they're scarce, that you can't afford them, that they'll make you sick, and on and on. But your job is to disregard any of these worthless suggestions and say the code every day.
And what will that do?
It will prepare you for a wonderful life, my young friend. It will help you stay above it all.
In the waning days of the old world of governance, the people had no direction, no trustworthy stewardship. They were disoriented. Their scarcity-driven civilization was dying. They put little or no thought about how to go on. The world managers, those who had taken it upon themselves to guide the people, were failing miserably. Chaos stood on the horizon, the common good forsaken. People wandered aimlessly. A miracle was desperately needed to point humanity not only back in the direction of peace on earth, but also to the peace in their own hearts and minds. Months and years went by as the people waited. Many turned to God in these darkest of days, and as it always happens when two or more are gathered to connect with God or great oneness, he responded by sending a young man to bring love and healing back to the people. This charismatic youth, Arthur Penn by name, had been through the same worldly situation before, in his last life in the British Isles, in a place called Camelot. Though he doesn't recall it, Arthur brought his people together at that time to live in a peace and harmony that should have lasted for generations. But alas, his beautiful Camelot eventually spoiled from within and was lost to uncaring warlords, warlords whose descendants still wield the sword of power and control over the world's people today. And yet out of that horrible chaos and confusion, a prophecy arose and began quietly circulating through the pubs and public houses. It rekindled the story of King Arthur and has returned to lead his people out of harm's way and into their highest calling in the days to come. Some said it was only a myth, a Celtic fiction of days long gone. There were others, however, whose ancestors had passed down the stories of old. Others who swore the story of Camelot wasn't a myth, that it was real. These elders bore witness to the great King Arthur Pendragon, who lived and led his people to a time of peace and prosperity centuries before. And they also talked of a time nigh at hand, when the great king would return to lead the people once again.